Greetings everyone and welcome to a new First Days for the channel where today we're going to be checking out Mob Factory. What is Mob Factory? Well, it's a little bit of an amalgamation of several different genres, as is often the case these days, I find. Mob Factory is a game in which you combine factory building elements with tower defense elements, and the easiest way that I can liken it to previous experiences is if you like building elaborate kill chambers around mob spawners in Minecraft, or if you just like factory games in general, or if you just like tower defense games in general, then you may find quite a lot to enjoy in this synergy of all three of those experiences. This is a very, very simple game to grasp, but it has enough strategic depth that it is one of those titles where, while perhaps not hard to master, there's definitely more to chew on here than at first glance. But it is always easier to show rather than to describe, so with all of that said, let's go ahead and jump straight into a new game and see what it is about Mob Factory that seems to just be scratching so many different itches in my brain all at once. Okay, so no text, no fancy voiceovers. This is a story that tells itself. It seems we have a party of what looks like a wizard, a tank, a rogue, and a loot goblin. Every party needs a loot goblin. It can also multi-class into the other roles, but a dedicated loot goblin, that is yes. Very, very fancy indeed. Your party knows it has achieved something when it can afford to have a dedicated loot goblin in the group. Fighting a dragon, though, maybe not the best. Okay. Yeah, I actually appreciate that. What are you insects doing? Get out of my house. Poor loot goblin, though. Okay, so, yes. Very industrious loot goblin, had a lot of loot with which to be industrious, I suppose, and dreams of even greater industry. Oh, avenging your fallen friends. That's actually very, very cute indeed. Okay, so tutorial. Welcome to Mob Factory. You will need turrets to defend your tower. Buy 2 from the merchant. Very well. So, hello, I am a normal vendor of legal weapons. Please purchase my ethically acquired goods. Yes, quite. Okay, so at the moment, most things are going to be unlocked. We're kind of in a tutorial sort of on rails. We have to buy the crossbow. Now, this is where the kind of incremental part of the game comes in. Purchasing items from our vendor friend over here get incrementally more expensive. So we'll go with this. It costs 10 first, now 12. So there we are. We've purchased some. Place crossbows to stop the worms. Left click to place. Gives a bit of a suggestion. Weapon that shoots enemies in front of it. We should be able to see how far it goes down there. That's actually quite a long distance. A decent distance about there and probably about there. There we go. And we've got the spawn down here. Unpause and wait for the worms to spawn. There we go. Let's have a watch. Wave 1 in 6... I thought it was 1 minute and 6 seconds. I was like, well, that's an awfully long time to give me to place down my crossbows, especially considering you made sure I'd placed them before unpausing. But there we are. So, these little blighters go 0.9 health, and our weapons over here do 0.8, so it does require 2 per worm. Okay. But there we go. Click on an item to add it to your inventory. The imp and manual crafting use your inventory items. There we go. So pump into my inventory. There you go. Alright, click on a wall in the manual crafting menu and craft it. You can control the enemy path with walls. A pretty typical tower defense fare so far. Place an assembler. Assemblers only craft using items they take in, not your inventory. And this is where the factory game element comes into play. So let's go ahead and pop down, let's say, an assembler. Well, it doesn't really matter over much where we put it, but we'll place it right down there. Click and select the bronze coin. So this is the inventory panel over here. Notice I can't make bronze coins. We have to use an assembler for those. It requires 5 worm bits to make 1 bronze coin. There we go. We will use the coins to buy items. Drag conveyors along the enemy path to your assembler. Make a coin by supplying the assembler. Very well, will do. You have given me an abundance of bits and bobs. There we go. We want to make sure that these are always... let me just grab those, because they will get pushed around. There we go. We'll just load those into the assembler like so. But you want to make sure that whatever is dying is dying on a path. Otherwise, this stuff will just get carried off. Oh man, I'm getting such strong Factorio vibes before the biters stop dropping candy. Right, okay, tutorial complete. Buy an island next. Move items across islands for silver coins. Okay, I will take care of that. Right, we'll just zoom out a little bit. This is our starter island, and right now it is extremely simple. I'm going to make things a little bit easier for me by doing that, because I'm super lazy. Right, buy islands. This is how we start expanding out. We've got silver coins down there. We can go in either of these directions, and both of them are going to give us the same type of enemy. That is that we're going to get spiders. We need 1 bronze coin in either direction. And I'm thinking we will go in this direction over here. Now, new enemy, a spider. They are fast. Very well. We're currently paused. The first wave will be in 15 seconds. We do have a treasure chest here, right in the middle there. And this has given us area damage and some crossbows. Very nice indeed. Now, you can organize your inventory a bit better. And I strongly recommend you do. Pop the bits that are coming out from whatever enemy in there, definitely, because you do not need those in your inventory. Does this scroll down? Out of curiosity, can we scroll further? I don't know. You don't need the coins in your inventory, but anything you're going to be placing on the regular definitely should be there. These two are especially useful. But I'm going to try and organize my kind of economy stuff to one side. There we go. And we've got the area damage tower. There we go. That'll be very, very nice indeed. Is there any kind of stats or anything like that I can bring up? Does this tell me anything about it? You can just remove things with a right click, and it seems that you get the whole thing back, which is very, very much appreciated. We've got some hints over here. So we can bring stuff into an assembler there. We can conveyor belts, which is probably quite a nice one. And that one in particular, that's a very nice hint that you can just have things going around and they'll just get plucked off. You don't need inserters in this game, basically. Right, okay, well, let's get rid of those then. Well, first and foremost, let's just try and make sure that we don't have to deal with any spiders causing us any problem. Let's try and pop this one down here. Now, this is where I'm going to start actually using my knowledge of these sorts of games in general to try and improve our odds a little bit. I would very much like you down here, so let's pop that in there. I'm then going to, as soon as I've got enough of these, I'm going to try and cordon this off a little bit. Hopefully, we'll be able to get those made before you become a problem. We've got 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Let's see if I can do this now. So one there, one there. There we go. Now, they're always going to try and take the shortest route, which is something I am very, very pleased with. We absolutely want to maximize that wherever we possibly can. So this may be enough to take out the spiders. I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a watch, see how they move around. 1, 2, 1, 2, and we've also got a little bit of area damage. Not quite enough to take you out. Can I afford to buy a little bit of something, something? Do not listen to any rumors spread by senile old wizards. All of our items are curse-free. They're just jealous of my wealth and magical prowess. I understand. I would like another crossbow, though, and we're going to pop this one down here. Now, this is very inefficient so far. Don't worry overmuch. We will be getting things a little bit better. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is the only island that has worms on it. The other, you'll get multiple islands with different enemies on them. This is a game about collecting the drops. It's all about the drops. You want all of the stuff that they're going to be producing at all times. And this is the only one that produces worms, and they're kind of an integral resource since they're how we get the slow area effect. They're also how we get the crossbow effect. No, it's true. You really are my favorite customer. You have many admirable traits. Copper coins, silver coins, gold coins. I admire your honesty. Right, so we don't want to have to pick all of this up manually, obviously, so we're going to try and set up some conveyors, but it makes sense for us to also add in conveyor automation. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of something along those lines. There we are. Conveyors will be fine. Let's pop you there and pop you there as well. This should just pull it off wherever it wants to and then produce them. There we go. So we've now got a steady supply of conveyors coming in. In fact, we should probably add in a couple of other things. Just need, well, honestly, we need these bits themselves in order to make some of these. I need to make a assembler myself. So if we were able to, I wouldn't mind just pulling some of these aside and then loading them up top there. So let's wait for a couple more conveyors to come along. We can... Is there a way for us to speed things along? I'm not actually entirely sure. Is there anything in here? Let's have a look. No, it doesn't really look like there is a speed setting. Sadly. That would be very, very useful. Right, there we go. Don't actually need to push this all the way up. We can just leave it doing this. However, one of the things is the rate at which these worms are producing is probably not significant enough for it to help us there, sadly. That is almost certainly always going to be a problem. But because things do get just shunted along, you can do stuff like this. You just need to start sending it in the right direction. So we're going to go ahead and do something along these lines. We're just going to tidy this up a little bit, and we're going to let time do its thing. There we are. Right, now we've got webs starting to show up in our inventory. We definitely want to pop those up there. There's no reason for us to have those down the bottom. But we've now got 6 conveyors and 9 blocks. Okay. But we are going to need to make a couple of other things as well. Let's continue grabbing a few of these. There we go. We've got a new assembler on the way. Pushes items off evenly, side to side. We can use 20 webs to make more worm spawners. You can only place a spawner on an island that is aligned to its type. So we can only place spider spawners on this kind of island. We can only place worm spawners on this kind of island. That is going to be very, very important for us as time goes on. I'm starting to think we might want to change things up a little bit over here. You know what? Sure, instead of bringing everything down, let's instead take everything up, and we'll bring this along in this direction. I know we don't really strictly need to do it like this. Let me grab everything. And again, we don't actually need to do that in this particular way either, but this is fine. Now, thankfully, mobs do not get any speed bonus from being on a conveyor belt. Otherwise, that would actually genuinely be quite bad for us. There we go, that will do. And then we're just going to, well, in fact, we could just take it the other way. Sure, we'll just load this straight on there. There we go. So, if we happen to get more worm guts than we need, that should make its way over to the collection point, which... If you're unfamiliar with the way that the tower defenses typically work, and I'm very guilty of just assuming that everyone knows how they work, you generally have a gate or a home base that you have to defend. If any mobs get over there, they will damage it. This is the health up here. This is communal across all of the islands. Damage to this one will affect this main health. Even if this one isn't taking damage, if any of them get fully destroyed, you die, but you don't lose. This is a little bit more gentle than most games of this type. Right, we can pop that down there, but that's going to cause me a bit of a problem. I don't want the worms going in that direction. I want them going in this direction, ideally, and straight up here. But we still only have these to stop them, which isn't exactly perfect for us. No, we need something else. Weapons are like names. You should have many, use them often, and get rid of the old ones when they get too bloody. What are you doing with your names that your names get bloody? I have questions. Now, I would very much like to get this, but it's going to be a little while before we can get that. But we can get a couple of these for now. These are Cyclops, a fast, short-range weapon. We're going to want to replace a couple of odds and sods, I think. We could have something there, for example, and we could have something over on this side too, just pointing out in that direction. And then we can just have this go up and around and down. Now, as you notice, this path is always showing the route that the enemies will take, and they will always take the shortest possible route. So we're going to need to encourage them to go this way, to go the way that I have dictated for them. So this will help a little bit. Now, another thing we can do down here is to pop this weapon back in place, but then ensure once again that things are getting back on there. So we've got a couple of weapons that are always firing in the right directions. There we go. It's a bit messy right now, but it will get better over time. Aha, right. Okay, you're going through there, so I will quickly be a scallywag and just turn that around, but you still managed to get there. But this is a good example of how this heals up anyway, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem for us. Really? Oh, well, that was very unfortunate of me. Let me just make sure that you're going the correct route. Thank goodness I had enough of these at the time. There we are. This should be a little bit easier now because we've got more weapons in play to be able to clear out the whole route. We'll see how this this works though. Let's just make sure that this whole thing does its job. Notice how the items themselves don't interact with the enemies on the line. Currently, we're able to handle this much, and we are now getting a small stockpile of scales. But you will also notice that whenever you run out of a thing, whenever you use all of it, it forgets where you set it up. It's a little bit of an annoyance, if I'm perfectly honest, but we'll live with it for now. Right, do not listen to any rumors spread by Signal Lovers. We've already told us that one. I would like more of these. They're continuing to get more expensive, and I would like a slow. Now, the slow is going to be particularly useful for us, since I can just pop it right about there, and it will affect everything within that aura. There we go. So these enemies will slow down just a little bit, giving us a bit more time to shoot them in the face. Right, with that done, we can have a look at buying more islands. We have the coins. We've got 30 coins and 1 silver coin over there. How do we get silver coins? Well, that is going to be another assembler. So let's get an assembler built. Now, I'm going to be making these manually for now. Silver coins are made with webs and copper coins. We also need splitters, pushes items off evenly to either side, and a sorter pushes the selected type of item to the side. Now, these are all very, very important things. There are a couple of other items, things that we can do, though. You may have noticed that we've got a drawbridge. You may be wondering to yourself, why do we have a drawbridge and what is its purpose? Well, you can move it around and later on we'll even be able to make them. But for now, what we want is to place one right about there. Now, one of the very interesting quirks of this game is that the enemies only want to get to their exit point. Enemies of a certain type may still consider exit points on their land type valid. I'm not sure about that one. But these worms, for example, only want to go here. These spiders only want to go here. But they can absolutely cross. So we want to encourage that behavior. We want to encourage that very much. So we're going to go ahead and just draw out this line over there. There we go. This will hopefully encourage our worm friends over here to go this route. Now, tricky thing with this is I need more bridges. So we are going to need to open up another island in order to get hold of more bridges. For that, I need to make sure that I can keep that island safe. Can't do it just yet, though. Weapons are like names. Yes, you have said this before. Shush, shush now. There we go. We'll grab all of this. We're seeing a little bit of gubbins getting through, but not too much, sadly. There we go. I would very much like to get a few more of these. I might actually be able to take these out with one of these. Let me pop this down here instead. There we go. 2 crossbows and a cyclops may be enough to take out the spiders. We'll see. Yes, that is actually very comfortably enough to take out the spiders. Can I improve this a little bit more? Could this? No, it was in the better place already. Never mind. Turret is blocked. It's not blocked anymore. Don't worry. It also is reliant on this existing down here, so that's something that we're going to have to pay attention to. But I need at least 1 more crossbow before I can do anything else. We're almost there, though. If I was using a slow, that might also help, but for the time being, that's not going to be for us. However, I can start preparing, and you can probably already tell where we're taking this. We are absolutely taking it where you think. That being said, we're going to have to take away the drawbridge over here, because I'm going to need that drawbridge. Later on, we can make them, so we're not going to be employing this tactic to its fullness just yet, but it is part of the plan. We want to make a very, very large trap maze to maximize the use of our traps. It is better to have all enemies going along a single route and then having all of your traps along that one route than having several independent trap areas, each strong enough to take them out. As you can see right now, I'm having to wait to try and buy extra weapons in order to make this work, and that it wouldn't be the case if I could simply have all of my enemies following the same route. How far off are we? Ah, there we are. Perfect. Okay, right, we're going to grab this one then, and we're also going to open this. What do we get there? We got another... Oh, wow. Okay, we got another 2 crossbows. Well, that is perfect, actually. I didn't need to wait all of that time. You know what, though? The area damage is definitely worth my while looking at. Let's have a gander and try to squeeze these together a little bit. Now, I would be extremely happy if my enemies here would just bunch up a bit. In fact, I'm going to have to move these around just a wee bit. In fact, let me shimmy them about instead. There we go. And this way, I might not need the gas trap over here. It's quite possible I still will, but this is an awful lot of firepower now along this one route. That should be enough to take care of things for me. And with that done, we may now be able to bring the worms over here, but I'm still going to have to save this area properly. So, first things first, I want our enemies walking up this route. I want them to be shot the whole way. I'll have a 3rd crossbow right there. I want all of this gubbins taken over there. I do apologize. I don't know why I've got such a frog in my throat today. There we are. I'm not coming down with anything, I very much hope. But let's make sure that that's actually enough, and that this is enough before I make any greater plans. Right now we're bringing in plenty of items. They are doing okay. We've got 6 seconds before that launches. Let's just make sure that everything dies on this side. There we are. Perfect. Wonderful. Now this, as we've seen, does a certain amount of damage. You're going to be able to take that one out? Yes, you're. Okay, that's fine. Now this one does 0.14 damage a tick. But for the entire duration that an enemy is in there, this has got 1.1 health. I'm thinking we definitely need to improve that. These have very, very little health, so that should all be fine. We can't move you. You exist there, and you will always exist there, and that's just the way that that one's going to go. But I should, if we're very lucky, be able to do a little bit of something over here. So, if I were to place this here, and then another one a little bit further on, we might be able to make sure that these enemies are going through this the whole time. Let me just pause this up. I know I just redesigned this area, but I'm thinking... very dangerous, I know, but here we are. Alright, we're going to do something like this, and then up. We'll see how that works for us. So grab all of this while we're here. I can have this firing in that direction, that one firing this direction, and same down there. This is now quite a lot of firepower in a single space. We'll draw this out. I very much want you to go the route I've given you. Let's make sure that the spiders actually do get taken out down here. And we'll pop that one up top. Now, is that going to be enough firepower to take the spiders? Yes, that can easily take the spiders out. The spiders, I believe, have more health than the worms, so at this point, I would say it is safe for us to completely remove all of the defenses we have on this side and just have the worms go join the spiders. So you can't place it here. It would cause an invalid path. What do you mean? Okay, fine. Can I remove it now? There we are. You've got to make sure that they do still have a path before you change anything. Even if you intend to give them back the path, you have to make sure that they have the path first. Alright, that gives us a bit more space. We even have a bunch of turrets that I might be able to make use of. I still want all of our currency to be brought this way. But let's just sort out my inventory for a second. We've got a lot of turrets, and I do want the turrets all down here. I would like the... area turrets to be kind of separate. There we are. That looks pretty solid for me so far. Right, let's make sure that all of this is going the right way. There we are. And collect all of that. Now, we should see the worms going to join the spiders down here. And hopefully they should be taken out en masse going through the clouds there. Okay, now then, at this point, since these are area damage and I'm fairly confident that they're enough to take out the worms, I can have any amount of worms use this path. This will always kill them before they get through. Even more so if I can slow them down, which I guess I could do if I really wanted to. Let's just pause that there, do a little bit of something, and shimmy the path around once again. There we go. I know, changing things up in the middle of a fight, absolutely abusing my the pause button here, but shh, don't tell anyone. Right, I'm going to, well, I guess it doesn't matter since I'm assuming they're all going to be dead by the time they get here. One path is the one the worms are going to try and take. You don't need to put your walls like this, by the way. Absolutely don't need to. I don't think it's a problem if you do, but it's not necessary. Now, you can build over the bridges. That is going to be a very important piece of information for us. I'm actually going to change this up a little bit. I want to secure, make sure things don't get bumped off the side, because they will, on occasion, get lost to the void down there. I don't know if they get respawned back on the line or what have you, but let's just assume they don't, for the sake of argument right now. At this point, I feel that we can safely pop you there. I would like you to be producing coins. You would then be able to produce silver coins, ideally, as coins come out of here. And since I'm now putting all of the spider's web along this same route, there's no real reason for me not to do that. Actually, this looks a little bit surplus to demand, so of course, let me break that a second. There we are. I would like, instead, for this to come straight across here. I don't see any reason not to. Also, it kind of amuses me that, yeah, it's so close, and yet so far. There we go, and then this can just come straight across, and then up, like so. That will work perfectly, and then we can pop back in the protections on this side. I do need to leave a valid path up to this. Right, okay. Now, once we have the ability to get bridges, which we're going to need shields for, you can see there's lots of different items over here. There are actually multiple tiers of items, refineries, all kinds of bonkers stuff. But right now, we've kind of started to lay down our, well, mob factory. The idea here is that we just keep making more and more and more of this. We want to industrialize our slaying of scallywags. The spiders are still going to be a little bit of a pain for us, but shouldn't be too terribly bad. I want another one of these to be extra specially certain I'm going to be safe, but I'm going to need the shields first. It's going to take us a little bit to get to that, but we should be able to get there in the next island we unlock. For now, though, let's just industrialize our worm production. There we go. You notice that they are all based on the island's timer, not based on the individual spawner's timer. You can't stagger them out. They will all spawn simultaneously. And that's why I waited until I had something which could kill with an aura, rather than something which had to directly target an enemy in order to take them out, because that would have been quite bad if I'd relied on that initially. But at this point, this is my entire path, so I really don't need anything but this to be involved in the fight. And we've got our first silver coin. Fantastic. We can pop that one right over there. And that is going to give us access to the graveyard. Now, like, the graveyard can expand out in either direction. Realistically, the way that your path is going to be created all depends on how you branch out, because from each island you unlock, it dictates where the other islands are going to exist. And so that's going to be a strategic consideration for how you're going to be able to build your bridges and the kind of the trap maze you're going to be able to create. It is definitely something to keep in the back of your mind. I have not built with regard to this in any way, so do not think the way I'm just haphazardly clicking on things is because I don't understand that there is strategy in the way that I buy the islands. But for the sake of this video, it didn't seem something that we really needed to agonize over. Now, if I want to unlock this, we're going to have a new enemy type. The center of the island always tells you what the enemy type is, and I think it's about time we go and say hello to the skeletons. We are going to, however, want some more weapons before we do that. In fact, we're going to want a lot of weapons before we do that. And you will see why in just a moment. Oh, that's a very, very healthy set of weapons there. Okay, so we have unlocked skeletons. They can only be hurt by projectiles from the back. Projectiles. They are completely immune to area damage. Also, our goal is now to produce a gold gold item. Let me have a look down there. That's going to require us to manufacture sorters. Now, I haven't played around with those at all as yet. For the time being, I think they're going to be fine over here. I would really love it if I could bring these spiders down into the same path as well, but we'll see about that in a moment. So, with skeletons, obviously this is a little bit more of a tricky one. We've also now got access to the wizard merchant. I am absolutely parched. No, none of that water stuff. Any potions to spare for an old man? I'll trade for enchantments. White potions, and well, actually there are more different types of potions, and the over here you start to see the not just the number of things go up with each purchase, but the types of things. So it's all white potions up here, but eventually the red potions, and eventually yellow and purple, and so on and so forth. But these are upgrades, permanent upgrades to the way things work. Assembler intake, production, the Cauldron, which we haven't yet seen, but we will get to. Right, let's pause that again. Now, as mentioned, the skeletons can only be damaged from the back. So we're going to need to make sure that we are always aiming at the back. That stands to reason, really, when you think about it. So let's go ahead, and the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure that our skeleton friends are taking the route that we want them to take. And we're going to want you across there. That'll bring them out to about this point. Let's branch that off. We're going to have another weapon up here, I would say, or we can have another weapon down here, in fact, and I think that is an even better idea. That way it gives us a couple of options. Now, just because they can't be hurt by area of effect does not mean they can't be affected by area of effect. Slow, I believe, will still affect them. They may be completely immune to area damage, but does that also include area slow? We'll have to see in a little bit. I've got to get 14 bits and bobs before I can do that. Alright, we are going to want you to come down. Well, I could just bring them down here, I suppose. We can't place anything in this space, but we can build a little bit up, so we'll do that. Crossbows are an awful choice for this particular style of maze, because they're long-range weapons. That's their whole... The whole thing about them is that they have got a very, very good range on them. We are intentionally trying to maximize here for having as many twists and turns as possible to get the most hurt on the skeletons as possible. Sadly, that's about all we can do there. So let's bring that down as well. And let's see, is this enough to take out skeletons? We've just used up all of our weapons, but that's fine. As soon as I know how far this goes out, I'll reclaim the other ones, because I don't intend to industrialize the production of skeletons here. We will see. I mean, I eventually will have to. That's the whole point of the game. But right now, that's not my goal. There we go. We've already taken one out, and another one. Okay, I grossly overestimated how many we would need. I will leave a little bit of extra in here. I don't see a reason not to, but I feel that this is already way more than we need. There we go. That will do. And now that we've got access to shields, and since we know where the first shield will drop, that'll pretty much happen every single time. So there we go. That whole area has now been automated, so we can pop the shields over there as well. Now, this gives us access to a couple of things I can manually craft. I can create the smart craft that crafts new items but stops intaking when it's full. That's actually really important. We can also now make spider spawners. We can make bridges. We can make all sorts of things. And the assemblers themselves can make other things. However, let's go ahead and make a smart assembler first, because I want to showcase something with that. As soon as that is made, let's pop that down. Now, if you have a look in the smart smelter, we can make other smart smelters. There is really no other reason, other than the fact that it requires shields, to make the basic smelter from this point onwards. The smart smelter is just a better smelter, in my opinion. And eventually, you kind of want everything to be upgraded to it. So that is what we're going to be doing. Now, the gold, that requires a couple of other odds and sods, but I'm going to place this over there, and I want this to just basically make me smart smelters forever. I am always going to need... Well, that being said, do I really need more? Do I want to industrialize my industry? There's a part of me that says no, because do I need a million of these? And they do take quite a lot of... But then there's the factorial player of me, who's like, of course I want to industrialize my industry. What else is industry for but to industrialize itself like some giant von Neumann machine? Fair point, hypothetical me. Okay, well, we're also going to need a lot of shields to be able to make some more bridges. So for now, this is going to take a little while to get all of this across, but I am going to indeed want to remove... Can I remove it? There we are. We are going to want this to come down, and you know what? We could probably just pop it right about... Where would be the best place to join up to this? I'm going to say the best place to join up to this would actually be right there. So we're going to shimmy some things across. There we go. Again, I do still want to have this protection, but I want everything coming down on the same path. It just makes sense. Right, and all the way down, all the way right down to here. We're going to remove this. Now that breaks this part because it would mean the spiders could take a shorter route, but has already been fixed now. So... we never want the skeletons going down here. It wouldn't help me. Well, actually, technically, I guess I could have the skeletons be taken out with this. Sure, that does technically still shoot them in the back. Thinking about it. Hadn't considered it up to now, but it does, in fact, work. If I pop this here. But how... See, the problem is these would get stopped by other creatures. Whereas the beauty of the area damage is it doesn't. It just does its damage, and that's the long and short of it. But the skeletons would potentially not get hit because this the shot from this got soaked up by a spider or something along those lines. Still, I will design this with shooting in the back in mind, just for future proofing. We'll place this right here. And we'll build up that wall. There we go. I don't think we should ever be using it in that way, but, you know, having the option certainly isn't a bad thing. Right, we've got our first industrial-produced excellent smelter there. I am now going to want to have a look at a couple of other things. We want some gold coins. That is going to require the splitters, so let's get at least splitters being made. There we are. Now, the way all of this works... You might be wondering, what is the real big thing of this? It stops intake when full. What does that mean? Well, if we have a look at something that requires... Do I have anything here that requires multiple types of things? Yes, over here. So, since this requires spiders' webs and copper coins, but they are not produced in an even ratio, nor are they consumed in an even ratio... I've got an overabundance of spider webs just sat here doing nothing. It's not helping me. It's just filling up the slot, but it can still accept them, and it constantly will. This won't. Once it's got, even if something requires 8 different reagents, once this has enough to do one crafting cycle of any reagent, it'll stop accepting that reagent, which is quite an important one. Very, very important one. So let's allow that to continue on. I would like more of everything, actually. We've also got the crystal now. Have we unlocked anything else? No. All of these things require much more fancy reagents. But we can now make area damage weapons. This is great. The crystal is a super long range, very high powered attack weapon there. Something we absolutely want more of, but I'm going to buy these instead because they make me happy. Alright, let's go ahead. We're going to have a slow there. We'll have another one right about there. There we go. This is, of course, going to get messy because now... Well, actually, technically not. It shouldn't get messy. Let's bring that up. There we are. And that across. Perfect. I just need a slow to go into that spot, and we are golden. Can I buy a slow? Yes, I can. So I shall buy a slow. There we are. And we'll pop you in there. Okay, this is now a particularly nasty little path. I am fairly confident in making lots more worm spawners. Let's get another 5. Also, at this point, I should be able to start experimenting with more bridges. I am wondering about even if I get 2 bridges to send these spiders in this direction, why not? This is where all my turrets are, and then I can reclaim these 3 turrets from over there. That would be perfect for me. Now, in terms of islands, we can still get 1 more skeleton island, and I think I shall, just because more shields are always useful. But how will we get those more shields into the main conveyor line, which is ultimately where I want them to be? That one's a little bit more of a potch, honestly. Now, this is an industrial item, so I'm going to have that over there. These are as well, but you know what? I'm going to store these up here for now. These I'm always going to be using, but these are going to be far more situational. So I might not have these on my hotbar. I don't think you can have multiple hotbars, sadly. No, you can't. You cannot, though, by the looks of it, increase the amount of things you're producing, which is actually something I hadn't noticed before, which is pretty cool. But I'm going to keep my spawners, generally speaking, up there. But for now, I'm going to be producing them down here. So let's just pop these out. Let's get as many as we can. There is no reason for me not to have lots of them, as far as I'm aware. This is a sort of not something I really care for. The only reason I want it is to be able to make gold coins, which we will now set up a production for. There we are. Marvellous, and we'll make sure that that's at the back. So probably the sorters will all get consumed and brought over there. I didn't actually want sorters down here. My network should generally be simple enough that I'm not going to require it, but you never know. We have now got Cauldron, though, and I'm sure a couple of you have been eyeing that with wonderment. This is what you might imagine. It's how we get to the wizard over there. That's all doing fine right now. Okay, well, I'm going to need a good amount of weapons to be able to take the skeletons on, but I think I should be able to do that. Let's grab quite a few and get a couple of slows as well. Now, let me just quickly check. Does the slow still affect skeletons? If so, I'm very happy with this. I'm not going to place it there. Well, actually, I guess I could, yeah. It does seem to affect them. If I take it away, are they speeding up? I think it's affecting them. Could be wrong. But I think it is, in fact, affecting them. I think the ones there are definitely a bit slower. I say definitely, and there's nothing definite about it. They do seem to die here. So I think this is the only way that I'm going to work it out, is where are the shields getting dropped? Normally, we've got one that makes it to about here. No, they all die there, and if this slow is in fact doing anything at all, they should die a lot earlier in the walk. Let's just double check this, because if this does affect them, then this is going to be grand. We are seeing they're kind of clustering. I fancy that it is actually affecting them. So we'll leave that there. I would say that the Cyclopses are going to be a better weapon over here. So let me just grab one of those. I'm going to well, may as well just squidge it up here instead. There we go. Since it fires faster, and that's the only thing I really care about here, that should be very helpful, especially since that's going to get a good couple of hits in with the slow effect as well. It might not even make it over here. No, they do still make it there. In fact, they made it a little bit further. Okay. I guess it's because this does so much less damage that the crossbow actually... these don't have enough health for it to really make too much of an impact, but it does seem that the crossbows are the better option here. Okay, well, let's swap that around a little bit. It is important for me to get the efficiency of this kill zone working, because I'm going to be setting up another one in just a moment. I want to do it as cheaply as I possibly can. There we go, and once again, no, I think that did actually work out reasonably. We definitely don't need that crossbow there anymore, though. We don't need that either, I suppose. They're never going to get over there. Right, it's time for us to get some more skeletons in play. I've got insufficient resources. What do you mean? Oh, okay. Fair enough. You are correct. I accept that I may have made a miscalculation with my money. It happens from time to time. I'm sure you understand. Alright, okay, well, we could get... Well, what are our resources like? Honestly, we do need to start increasing spiders' web production. I would need 2 of these in order to make this work, but bringing the spiders over here as well would probably be worth it for me. Getting some more worms out on the field also going to be worth it for me. Let's shimmy that around. Now, I do want to quickly check. If I walled this off, would they consider the other place a valid path? No, they would not. Alright, that's fair then. We are going to need the other bridge to make this work. Just bring that across there. But once that's done, it won't matter that there's just a quick path there. I'm just going to have another bridge over on this side, and then the job's are good. How far out are we from that lofty gold? A reasonable way. Have we got the gold coins yet? No, not yet. What is consuming? Oh, are they all being used up by this one thing? Yes, actually, they are. That's very interesting. I had not paid attention to that one, I guess. You know what? Let me shimmy these things around a little bit. Let's make this a little bit better. I'm going to want 2 of these working, making me copper. Once I've got a couple more, in fact, I can make 1 more right now. I'm going to want 2... just making me the walls and the conveyors. Let me move these. Well, actually having them up there, because things can get pushed off the sides, is a little bit of a concern to me. So I'll pop these just down here instead. Walls and conveyors can both live there. There we go. That works. And then we want the silver coins, and we also want to get the splitters as well. And that should all take care of everything we need. There we go. Silver coin production is back up and running, and all I need now are the splitters to be able to make the gold coins. I will move this along, though, and just pop that there so that I've got my kind of my infrastructure buildings right next to each other. There are a couple of other things that I am going to want to set up production for in the end, but this should be okay for now. In fact, ultimately, I'm going to want to have my production something like this, realistically, all the way around and then up, and then all of this can just go in that direction. That's not a problem. That way, I take a little bit of pressure off a couple of the other parts. There we go. That will probably start outputting upwards. I think you can tell them to output in the different direction, but just in case you can't, may as well do this properly. There we go. So we want copper coins, and silver coins right there. We also want, you know what, I may as well pop that one there as well. I'll have that one producing my infrastructure. I'll just wait until we've got enough to make a new assembler. In fact, we've already got enough. I can make it myself, so I will. There we go. Pop you in position and get you making the walls. And that is so much tidier. I'm now storing the old ones over there. I don't think you can actually do anything with them. I don't think you can get rid of them in any way, sadly. We've got another 4, so I'm going to want gold coins. But gold coins are going to require the production of the sorters. And then there we go, and I'll just make sure that that is being sent in that direction. Okay, there we go. That's a lot better, in my opinion. Right, we want a new bridge. That's going to take us a little bit of time. Actually, not that much time. We should be there in just a moment. Whilst I'm waiting for that, I may as well go and set up this place then. And that gives us a new bridge. Never mind. Don't need the old one. Can I get you? There we go. Perfect. That means we can pop that down. And finally, I can get rid of this. We can have all the spiders just take that route. That is marvelous. I'll wait for you to die. There we go. Okay, that is amazing. All right, so on to the next area then. Once again, we could pretty much mirror what we've got set up here it seems to be doing the job good enough, and we don't want to use the Cyclopses. We just want to use the crossbows, I guess. Something along these lines will do quite nicely. There we are, and one up here as well. And that should, all things told, take care of everything, I believe. We'll obviously have to see. I'll pop in a slow right here. But if I can just corner you, that one doesn't. No. I need a little bit more room. I need to shunt everything else up by one. Just to make sure that all of you go this way as I want. There we go. Now we can do this. And I'll pop this. I'll give him a little bit more time to attack there. And, well, that being said, it doesn't really help me out. But, sure, we'll do something like this. We're mixing things up a little bit from the previous setup, but it should be fine. There we go. He says not entirely certain that it will be, but it's good enough. Right, let's see if this is okay. Always wise to hang about and actually check, make sure that things work the way you intend them to work before you walk away, because once we do go away, that's it. We're probably not going to look back here for a long time. There we are. Okay, so we've now got a production of shields that will constantly go straight into our bank, and I'm absolutely okay with that. We do still have spider webs making it to the bank slowly, but I would like to increase them if I could. So, using some shields to that effect, and also some more worms, would be a wise move. I'll go ahead and I'll place a spider over here. We'll just have the spiders make their way down. There we go, another spider as well. Pop you right there. Marvellous. Now, I could bring the shields across if I really desperately wanted to, and I mean, there is a reason to do that, but that would have a lot of conveyors all over the place then. You can 100% overstuff things. It can and will happen. So be aware that you can make more problems for yourself than you're solving by having everything on the same line. But that is so much of a tighter build there. What am I even doing with my life over here? This is garbage by comparison. Still, it does get the job done ultimately. It does it with 4 and 4. I mean, the same amount of turrets, I guess. That's the only thing that really matters. Alright, on the topic of turrets, I think it may actually be worthwhile picking some of this up and picking up a crystal for once. Now, let's have a look at the crystal. 1.9 damage. How much life does a skeleton have? It starts off by 1.3, so a single shot from this will kill, but it's got a cooldown of 1.9 seconds. Still, it's not a bad thing to have, I suppose. I could have it here. In fact, if I really wanted to, I could just... let's go ahead and just have this one turret maybe do all of the work. Let's have it do all of the heavy lifting on this side. A single long-range turret right there. And have all of the skeletons just pop out here. I could probably just have a second one, and that would be good enough. Let's actually see if this works, though. Because, again, this one takes a long time to fire, but every time it does, it will kill. There we go. And it doesn't quite hit the last one, but honestly, that is a very nice little setup there. That will do everything I need it to, and more. Let's get another bridge in a moment. I'll just allow these to go across. Are we going to finish you off? Yes, we are. 2 crystal towers would definitely take it out, but how much are they, realistically? They're somewhat expensive. Still, considering we're saving a lot on other things, not a bad choice, in my opinion. I can definitely see this working out for us, so let's go and upgrade our setup over on this side. Let's take everything away, grab all of their shields while I'm here. There we go. And down. All we're doing is we're just improving this a wee bit. There we are. I want to make sure that you go out in the right direction. And then we have a crossbow. Right down. In fact, I want the crossbow here instead. So we will bring that down. Okay, fine. We'll take it down just a little bit further. All the way across. I'm using walls, but I really don't care about walls. We have got an overabundance of walls. There we are. That should take care of everything we want. Again, once you make any change, it is generally worthwhile just waiting and seeing if that change... Oh, dear me. Did I not place something there? Could I not place something there? It looked like I did that time. Alright, well, I'm just going to let you get through. Did it? Or did it? No, it did not. Never mind then. I am actually going to have it over here. Fair enough. Well, that's why we check things. One little bit of damage is not going to break the bank. It's unfortunate, but oh well. No, I do need to be going this direction because the skeleton is going to die on this path. But we'll just scooch around the tower. That should be fine. There we are. A decent bit of damage. It does show you what did the damage as well, which is actually quite useful information to have. There we are. That will sort it. And the same thing happening down there now. Okay, perfect. I could replace these with even stronger weapons if I absolutely needed to, but we absolutely don't, so I'm not going to worry too much about that one. Can I get this in position? Sadly, no. I can't get that in the right spot. Ah, well. Alright, well, I'm going to move these around then. Let's pop you there. Yeah, it doesn't... Would this actually make it all the way? No. No, it 100% won't. Oh, well. Alright, well, let's scooch all the shields down onto the same path. And all the way along. There we are. Okay. Oh my god, that noise. Right, but there we are. We have everything going to the same place now, and that's going to help us out enormously. Right, do we want some more worm nests? Yeah, of course we do. We always want more of everything. That's the nature of an incremental game. But one of the things I would like more of is stuff to make a cauldron. Now, cauldrons are interesting things. Much like the merchant for weapons, you take these from the inventory, so I just need to make sure they get to my inventory. I don't need to do anything more fancy than that. We'll have another one there as well, and we'll have one down here. Oh, this is glorious. We are now cooking with fire. There we are. And we'll pop a spider's nest right there as well. We'll slowly fill all of this out. So many worms now. And again, this is... Oh, that has been an enormous breach in my security this whole time. Why did no one warn me? One thing I will point out, though, actually, this gives me an opportunity. You can't put two types of the same turret next to each other. Can't put... well, at least two AoE turrets. You probably can do that. Yeah, it'll allow you to put two regular turrets next to each other, but AoE turrets are a big old nope. We'll have something shooting them as they're moving in this direction. I'm just doing this for no particularly good reason. Well, actually, I'll move them across a little bit. Just an abundance of paranoia, really. I'm not even going to say caution. Because I'm, we know that this is going to work. The spiders, the worms, they all cluster and they will just take stacking damage from the poison. And they will never get past this point. If they've not done it up to now, they will never get past it, no matter how many we throw at it, because this is doing uniform damage to everything within its range. So it's not something we need to concern ourselves with. Alright, now, what is the next island, you might be asking yourself? Well, we've actually got an island down here. We've got islands all over the place. But this one is a bit of an interesting one. I will unlock it just for the sake of it. It is literally just a crafting island. You can just build stuff there. Technically, would we be... Oh... Would I be able to put a worm nest down here because it's the same island type? Would I? That would be interesting. No. You cannot place different types of spawners on the same island. Okay, I mean, there's no spawner on this island. So this is a crafting area. Now, one thing I haven't addressed is that the spawners themselves are held in place. They're unique items. The ones that appear on the islands, much like this block here, any island feature that is there when you buy it cannot be moved or changed, which means that that spawner is always there. That spawner is always there. If I want to get to this island, I would need to have built out my island chain in a different way to allow me the route of sweeping down in this direction. I didn't do that, so we're never going to use that. But realistically, I've got so much space on all of these islands that I could use for any kind of construction I wanted. It's not going to make me lose any sleep. Really? Are you outputting downwards? Why would you do... Oh, I see. You're outputting downwards because the last place you got something from was above. Oh, okay, well, that kind of makes sense, actually. Oh, here, wait, why did I do this? Some days I do wonder how and why someone managed to screw my head off, take out my brain with an ice cream scoop, and replace it with pudding, and then go to the effort of putting my head back on so that I wouldn't notice. Bloody gremlins. Right, nevertheless, we can now look into the Cauldron or buying a new island. Now, slime islands. I hate slime islands. With a fiery passion, I hate slime islands. They are so remarkably annoying, but they are a necessary evil that we are going to have to deal with. But we will deal with them later. Right. In terms of, well, going to slime islands, we're going to need a lot of these, which now necessitates that I take these away. I'm going to need a lot of these. So all of the extra backup damage that I put down here is now going away in favor of just relying on this. And I no longer know if this can handle it. So let's have a watch and see. Can this... Oh, that definitely won't handle it if I'm letting that happen. We've got worms as far as this, but that's fine. Now we're going to see the spiders go... Thankfully, we did that before the spiders got here, otherwise death. Are the spiders always going to die? I think the spiders die here. The very last one. Okay, so this is still safe. This is perfectly safe. Alright. Crisis averted. We are okay. But now that's given us 8 Cyclops turrets. How many am I going to need? I would say 10 is probably a good cautious approach. Possibly with the backup of a crystal tower or 2, it'll be enough. We'll take on Slime Island then. Right, so unlocking slimes. Now, slimes eat items. What does it mean by that? It means anything on the path a slime takes, it will devour. I think they can only eat a certain amount of items per tick, but you don't want them to eat any of your precious items. This is your loot, not theirs. So you have to approach slime islands in a very different way, an annoyingly different way, but we will try and deal with it. So, much like skeletons, although slimes can be damaged from any direction, you always want to damage them from behind because you want to kill the last one in the chain first. You want to always kill the one that's further behind all of the others first, so that the ones that are marching ever onwards, because they'll never turn around to gobble down items, they just keep on going, completely oblivious to the fact that there's juicy stuff just behind them, ripe for the gobble. So we're going to set up something like this. Let's do that. There we go. They will now move in this direction. I would like... putting down area damage is a dangerous thing to do, so we're going to do this instead. There we go. Actually, I'm still going to need that there. This will hopefully allow me to take them out in a reasonable way. Let's bring this back across. I want them to... Well, I guess I could bring them down now. Sure, we'll get a couple of hits in. And we'll put another slow turret there. And if I pop that there, then in fact we can bring this all the way down, which is actually quite nice. How far do you go? You don't go that far. That is massive overkill. Let's not do that. In fact, in that direction, you also don't. Let's pop this across there. You are fine. You are fine. That's okay. I'm liking that damage. This will be okay. We'll have a little Cyclops, kind of Cyclops rally over on this side. But then, sadly, going up in this direction won't work as well. So, I think what we're going to do is something like this. Now, can I build up here? Yes, I can. Perfect. Okay, well, I want this then, and all the way up, so they will take a decent chunk of high damage moving in that direction. Then, followed up by another little... scooch in that direction. Then we're going to lay this down. And I realize this probably looks, compared to everything else we've done so far, like massive overkill. It isn't. It really isn't. I say, and watch me be proven wrong in just a second, but let's see how the slimes go. Now remember, these do 0.6 damage about every second, 0.8 damage a little bit over a second, but for a further range, this does 1.9 damage every, 3 damage every 1.9 seconds. You know what, I'm actually starting to feel that maybe swapping these out would be the wiser move. Even though it's not going to get as far, it's still going to do a wallop load of damage. Right, let's have a watch. How are you going to wander around? So, they've got 3.5 health, and remember, we're only getting a little bit of damage in on the first one. It's mostly the one that goes behind that we're going to be doing the damage to. Now, you are, unfortunately, you're doing way too much damage. I need you to be way weaker. Yeah, the primary reason why we go for the weaker turrets is so that we don't end up killing them too quickly. Alright, well, that did work, but we lost one bit of gubbins there. This is also why you don't use area of effect at all. You very much don't want to take them out with that. But this did give us all of the items around here, so I'm going to say at this point we don't need the rest of it. But as you can see, we got almost all the way there. So yeah, not the over preparation you might have assumed. Right, will that go down? No. Possibly. Oh no, we've got a weapon system there. That's fine. Punk. Right, let's have a watch of you. Unfortunately, one is dead. Oh, no, we were taking them out just in time ahead of them. I'm somewhat impressed. Okay, that's fine. Usually they would have gobbled those up, but I'm okay with that. Let's get them back onto the main conveyor and get them all the way back down. There we go. We are now producing slimes. Not bad at all. I'm going to put the conveyor belt around here because they were getting taken out about there. I'm not going to need that other tower though. That's surplus to demand. There we are. That's good enough, I think. There we go. All right. We are getting all 4 of them as well, which is, honestly, I find quite impressive. Now, we've got a couple of new things. With slimes, we can now start the production of skeleton spawners, and advanced sorters. Pushes the selected type of item to the side, but it has more options. Oh, what happened there? Why are you outputting to the side, you dummy? Oh, my lord. Okay, fine. I guess I'll just add these in, so if anything does get shunted off in the wrong direction, it always gets back down there. But we can now build a cauldron. Let me go ahead and create one of these and pop it down. I don't think we're going to be using the sorters for a little while. Oh, really? Have I made 2? Why on earth would I have done that? That was very silly of me. Ah, there we are. Let's pop you down there. Pop those across there. There we go. Right, so cauldrons. The way these work. Any items can be put into them, and it will change the nature of the cauldron. You have to put 10 items in to make 1 potion. It will make a potion whose color corresponds to the highest tier item put into it, but not in relation to the amount. So the best type of cauldron will be one filled with the most abundant trash item you have, and then only one item of the more rare type, which will then define what color of potion that is. Or you can just, do it cheap and dirty, and you just throw it down here and just suck up all of the shields to make sure you get a red potion. It's entirely up to you. But I quite like the idea of doing this the smart way. But the problem with the smart way is it does take time. Now then, I could easily put a potion over here because everything is going through this route. As you've probably noticed, they are quite large structures. But if I do that, I am almost guaranteeing that this is going to be a red potion producer. Still, let's go ahead and chonk one down, and we'll just have a watch of how this works. So with that done, I'm going to want both of these taking up and then across. We don't need to do all of our production in the same place. So there we are. This is already a red potion, as you can see. It's grabbing shields of all, and slimes too. Scoundrels. But this is why you might want to restrict what it takes in, because you really don't have any control. It'll grab whatever it wants to grab. And so we've made 1 red potion out of extremely rare components. Now, one way that we can solve the problem of overwhelming it and ending up pulling all the shields and the slimes out is simply putting it further back in the queue, because at this point we've killed an abundance of worms and spiders, so that by and large the most that we're going to see being produced is going to be white potions, because there's just going to be so much emphasis on the ingredients for white potions. That being said, we do still want to try and make some red potions, so maybe having another cauldron right about here would not be a bad idea, and we can then in fact just have everything shimmy across. We might see the occasional red potion being produced at this point, but if we didn't, we could always put one back down here, and then we're almost certainly going to see a lot of red potions being produced, just because we're going to have so many items. Oh, in fact, we've got a red potion there, so that doesn't hurt too much to get the potions on the brew. It's not an exact science, and we absolutely can make it an exact science if we want to take the time to use sorters and flippers. And just to cover how they work, just in case I haven't already made it quite apparent, the flipper literally just side to side even. The sorter, and what you need to look at, is the colored in arrow. This is the direction you're going to sort the items that you set the filter for. So if I chose scales here, all scales would be deployed to the left, whilst anything else would be deployed right above. So the idea would be we'd send something in like that, and then something like that, and all of a sudden we've got all of the scales going this way, and then half of everything else going this way, and half of everything else going that way. But if that isn't right for you, you might want to flip it around, and it'll flip the direction that it's sending the output. So that would give you a little bit of a way to control what is being produced and which direction it's going in. But looking at the time, I am way out of time for this little first taste. This is the sort of game that can absorb me for hours, and then I will look up at the clock and realize that half a day, or in fact several days, have gone by and I have forgotten how to be a human. So the last thing I'm going to do before we wrap up this video is go ahead and get an upgrade. Now let's have a quick look. We are almost actually at the point of being able to upgrade the Cauldron, which in my opinion is the one that you should save for, but for the sake of just showing something being upgraded, I'll go for something else. But this one is huge because it reduces the amount of items you need to make each potion. That is going to have a very big effect, especially across the course of an entire game. But let's go ahead and increase the speed of our assemblers. A nice, easy white potion item. The cost has gone up, and it will continue to go up, and then eventually it'll start involving other colored potions. But that will have had a reasonable effect on moving our items around. Now, that you might be asking, well, what's the point? It's always going to get to where it's going eventually anyway. The main reason is how long it's exposed to things that might want to take it off the belt. Which is especially important for things like the Cauldron. The slower something is moving past, the more chance it has of picking up something you don't want it to pick up, for example, switching the colors of the potions. And there are a couple of other ways, especially if your assemblers are getting powerful, or you truly have industrialized. This is not industrial by any scale. This is a dinky little humble cottage industry by comparison to what you really could be doing with this. But the only thing I've got two assemblers making is copper coins, and that is quite charming by comparison to what you might do in a full game. But that is going to be it for us for Mob Factory. I really do hope you have enjoyed. There is a lot more to this game, so if by the end of the video you decided you did enjoy what you saw and you want to see more, then do let me and say algorithmus know with the beautiful buttons, and we might see jumping back in. There are many more islands. We've got an interesting one over here. It has a trash can on it that I will leave to the imagination, and over here something that looks like a boss arena, because it is kind of it's an interesting mechanic that I will leave to the imagination. But that has been Mob Factory. I really do hope you have enjoyed and will be joining me for the next game that we first taste on the channel. But until next time, and as ever, do leave a like if you like, sub if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care, everyone.